This is AI.R. Artists in Residence Broadcasting, coming to you once a week from New York City. Hello, I'm John Cullum, and this is Emily Frankel.
Hello, John Cullum. How are you today?
I'm doing all right, Emily.
I want to talk about somebody for my blog, M's Talkery.
All righty.
Somebody that we love.
Yes.
I love, you love. Every time we see this man, we are astounded by him.
Who's this?
Well, you know him very well. His
Richard
name,
Burton?
No.
Not Richard Burton.
Robert Preston.
Robert Preston.
There is
yes.
no one that had the diction, the presence, the constant sharp presence of Bob Preston.
Well, he had a lot in common with Richard, because Preston could do Shakespeare just as well as
I didn't
Richard.
know that.
Yes, he did a lot of Shakespeare out in California with in small groups. That's what I heard. And Richard Burton said about Bob Preston, he was the only person in the world that he couldn't take the stage away from.
Golly, nobody could take the stage away from him. Remember the other night we just saw Victoria for the umpteenth time.
That was the last thing he did.
Astounding.
Yes.
And I just can't ever forget Music Man.
Oh, gosh.
Every word, every gesture, nothing was blurred ever.
I don't know whether you remember this, but I had hurt my eye and been in the hospital, and I came back, and you'd sent me down there, and they found out that I really had a problem. And I came back here. You were rehearsing in the other room, and I was convalescing in bed because I was not supposed to move. And I had a little radio there, and I suddenly heard this number from a thing called Music Man, which I'd never heard of.
Oh.
And it was Trouble,
Golly.
in River City.
Yeah.
And I thought, who in the world is this? I've never heard this guy. He's got the most incredible voice and diction and precision.
What was his voice? Was he a baritone?
He was a baritone with a bass registry, and he could sing as high as a short tenor. He had an incredible range, a big, powerful, wonderful voice. He reminded me of Richard, and he also reminded me of a country singer, Tennessee Ernie.
I love Tennessee Ernie.
They had that same.
Didn't Tennessee Ernie do 16 tons?
That's right.
16 tons.
Yes. But Bob Preston could sing anything. He didn't want to know. I remember in We Take the Town.
Explain. We Take the Town was a show that we loved, and it never opened in New York.
Yeah, that was a big.
They ran out of money.
Yeah, that was a big. Bob Preston never really recovered from that, in terms of his sense of stage work in New York, because he just burst on the scene. Because he'd been a movie actor, usually played the villain or the second guy in the love stories, and he had never done anything in New York, so far as I knew, until he did Music Man, and then he just blew everybody away. It was extraordinary.
He could dance. He could do anything.
Yes.
He had marvelous, intricate movement of his feet. I never forget
and
that.
Hands. He could, and he was very strong. He was
Was he a drinker?
I never knew him to be
a drinker.
If he drank, he never showed it. He hung out in bars, and he usually
all actors hang out in bars.
Yeah.
Bars are the other home for actors.
Well, he liked to hang out with the stagehands. He was kind of reclusive or standoffish with his fellow actors. I got to know him pretty well, but and I loved him very much and loved to be on stage with him. But
I just wanted to mention Bob because of all the actors that we've spoken of, the one that astounds us all the time is Robert Preston.
Yeah, I'm so sorry his career ended.
Early.
Yes, because he was a big, strong, strapping fellow, but he must have had some kind of heart condition.
Heart trouble.
Yes.
Well, thank you, John.
Well, it was a pleasure, and I could say some more about Bob, and sometime we'll talk.
You
about
remind
the
me
shows.
of Bob with your wonderful speech.
Well, thank you very much. I take that as a big compliment.
Okay.
And we'll see you next week with another subject. So long. This is AI.R. See you next week.